Good day, subscribers. It's me, the finance guy, and I am sorry, I am still not back yet. I am still on vacation, but I didn't want to forget about you guys, so I got you a couple videos coming out here in the next few days because I want to make sure that you guys are still getting some content even though I'm on vacation. A little insight to where I'm going and what I'm doing is I'm going to be going to the ocean, and I'm going to be spending some vacation time there. And on top of that, I am having my 30th birthday.
Today is my 111th birthday.
This is my big 3-0, and it's the first time I've taken off a major vacation in almost 10 years. So with that being said, I really wanted to, enjoy myself for a few more days before I come back to the grind and I give you guys information and I go back to doing the job. With that being said, today let's jump into it and let's talk about the trade war. And some of you are probably thinking, what is a trade war? Well, a trade war is when two nations are fighting for economic control over any kind of tariffs or any kind of, exchange of goods. And right now, the United States and China are fighting for their kind of economic trade. Now, this could be good for the United States or it could be bad for the United States. Recently, China is now moving into a bear market, and if it continues to go further and further down, you could bet your buttons that China will push back against the United States, thus maybe pushing our economy into a slump. So let's look into that today, and I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight on what's going on in the world. So it looks like the United States is slapping a tariff onto China, and China is firing back with the same amount of 34 billion to 34 billion. Ultimately, this really doesn't make any sense, and it's really not doing anything for either economy, as it's actually equaling out from 34 to 34. And United States President Donald Trump saying that he is going to escalate this to 500 billion, which is a much greater amount of trade good tariffs coming forward. So we'll see how that pays out in the coming months. With that being said, I am also looking into why China could be suffering also because of what they need for their buildings. Right now, they need to be building a lot of their buildings through steel and concrete, and the United States is upping their steel trade, and China is in this interesting position where it seems like a lot of their buildings that they're putting up are going up too fast, and some of them are actually falling apart within like 3 to 5 years. And China is kind of in this interesting situation where they need to be building really nice, strong buildings because they have the rising middle class. They have all these people that are moving into different areas. And I'm really curious to see how China is going to play this out in the coming months and the coming years, because this could be very bad for China. And it could be bad for the United States as well. I'm really curious to see how this pans out in the future, especially when China actually has been wrecking us on a lot of imports or exports. You could just see all kinds of crazy things. Look into the exportation of honey and all that has been going on for the past few years. It's absolutely mind-blowing if you do a lot of research into what China has been exporting. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts, so feel free to comment down below on what you think's going on. I like to stay current on a lot of interesting things that are happening in countries, and like here in the United States, we're on the verge of, I believe, a technological boom. We've been rising in tech lately, and artificial intelligence, I think, will ultimately take over a large portion of jobs here in the next 10 to 20 years. So being on the forefront of investing into major tech companies, I think could be advantageous over a long period of time, but that is just my personal view. We'll see what will happen here in the next 10 to 20 years when it comes to doing any kind of investments. But the trade war between the United States and China is not necessarily good for either country until one is willing to give up, a little bit more of trade or freer trade. The United States says that China has been imposing not so free trade, and China says that, hey, why are you starting this war? Well, the truth of the matter is we've put a lot of our businesses over to China because they offer incredibly cheap labor. They can send it back to the United States, and we can profit from all the great low, cheap prices. And that's not necessarily good for building anything here in the United States. So it's this very unique situation that we seem to be in, and I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on what you think is going on in the United States economy and what could benefit our economy. Personally, I think building more jobs here in the United States and creating more quality products that the rest of the world really seems to enjoy would be a great boon for the United States. So I really look forward to hearing your comments on this subject. And if this is your first time joining us here on the channel, feel free to subscribe, like, and comment. I look forward to hearing back from you guys. And don't forget to hit that bell because I make videos all the time. Even though I'm on vacation, I'm still trying to bring you guys some content, so I will continue to always bring great quality things for you in the future. And hope to see you guys again next time.